Hello there, folks. Welcome to the channel. It's all about racing. You know, folks, I was looking through eBay for Ford GT40s, and I'll tell you, there have got to be 10 or 20 manufacturers that make them, all sorts of prices ranging from $20 to $150. This was a rather unique find from an Italian company called Bang or Motorbox. I've seen them labeled under both. They claim that these are handmade models in Italy, very unique. I can tell you that they are die-cast. I have opened this one. I have a second one. I've got a Mark II that I haven't opened yet, and I paid about 20 bucks for these from a seller on eBay, respectively. It is a die-cast model. It's attached to a plastic base. The detail is pretty nice, and believe it or not, the back of the car does open. But it is called a Bang model, and you can kind of see it here, and it's got unique information in the back of the box that talks a little about the car. Most of it's in Italian, not too surprisingly. This is what the box kind of looks like. High-quality model, made in Italy. Ford GT40, Le Mans 1969, Kleiners and Jost. That referring to the drivers. And this is what the back of the box looks like. Again, it's in Italian, so I won't go over reading it, but Bang SRO and Van Diegel, Olmi, Pisano, Italy. The bottom of the box has your usual legalese that you would expect in one of these things. Let's see. It does note that, well, I'm not even going to get over what it notes, but anyhow, you don't see anything about Le Mans or anything on that because it doesn't note that on this particular car as far as, what race it competed in. But anyhow, let's go ahead and take it out of the box and I'll show you what this thing looks like. Now, this model does come with quite frankly, a very cheesy plastic base. There's absolutely nothing on it. It does have a jewel cover, which is nice, and it locks into it on the side. Again, I'll kind of move it around to show it to you. Nice detail, particularly for a relatively inexpensive car. I have seen some sellers asking as much as $100 for these things, so my God, don't pay that kind of money. I wouldn't even consider it. But let's go ahead and pull this jewel cover out and take a closer look at it. I'll tell you, this thing is a real pain in the butt to take the jewel box off of it. It actually clamps onto it. You see that hole on the side of the base? Well, that clamps onto the jewel cover, and that's what holds down. I guess it's a nice way of holding it down, so to speak. Anyhow, this is what it looks like up close and cool. Now, this thing comes packaged really weird. When I got it, it's inside this jewel case in a plastic bag. And the Mark II I have left, and I'll open that for you to show you what it looks like packaged as is. But their packaging is rather strange and unique. Details on it, they're really kind of cool, particularly for a relatively inexpensive car, depending upon what you pay for it. But anyhow, this is the number 68 car. As I mentioned, this is a 1969 Ford GT40 Mark II, I believe. 8-cylinder, 4,736 cc's, as mentioned on the box. White with this gold, red, and black stripe going down the front of it, and we turn around here, we'll kind of take a look at the front of the car. Kind of interesting, you got fuel caps on both sides of the front end. The mirrors are really high on it. Over here, you can see them on both sides. Kind of interesting, and there they'll give you a little bit of the interior detail. Notice that in this particular car, I guess because of the age, the driver's position is on what we call the passenger side here in the United States. You Brits would call it the driver's side, but anyhow, in the States, we could call that the passenger side, but that's, I guess, how this car was run at the time. Front details are kind of interesting. Grille there, you can see the headlights. I was kind of interested in this model because I really wanted to get a couple of models to compare the body styles between the original GT40 and the Mark II. Now, this is the Mark II, and this was a 1969 version of the car, so it is a little bit different from the GT40 Mark I that was made famous in the movie of Ford versus Le Mans. I think it's a pretty neat looking model. It's got the headlights are inlaid plastic on it. Nice chrome parts for both the mirrors as well as the fuel caps. You can see the wheels are nicely done in chrome with Dunlop tires on them. The interior detail is actually pretty cool. You've seen it from the front. There's a little look at it from the from the side. You know, I really wish the doors on this thing opened. It would be so cool if they did. Unfortunately, they do not. But here's a nice surprise. The rear does open up. Now, of all the model cars I've got, I haven't got a single one that has opening parts. This was kind of unique in that it does. You can see the tire details unusually are treaded, which probably is not a surprise considering the time and the age and the conditions that they ran in. The engine detail is nothing exceptional, but it still is a fairly nice rendering of it in a relatively inexpensive way. What I really like about this is how the tailpipes run all the way from the engine block all the way to the back of the car. And unfortunately, depending upon how you set this, the tailpipes have to sit behind. Oh, actually, that worked out okay. A couple of times I've opened it, they didn't go through that center spot there that you see nice and cleanly, but that actually did. And I'll pull it back there. You can see the tailpipe. You can see the grill work and the tail lights. So it has to actually fit right through that little tiny hole there. And it does, which is pretty cool. And then if you take a look at it from the top, that's what the detail looks like that you can see through the window in the back of the car. And you've got some louvers there as well, I assume, to pass air through or to help her, extract heat from the engine, which I'm sure gets very, very hot, particularly considering its age and the RPMs these things ran. But kind of a really neat model, very unique, very different. Like I said, this comes from a company that calls itself Bang. They claim these are high-quality models from Italy. And hardly anything is made in Italy these days, or any days. Almost everything comes out of China, regardless of who makes it. Spark is a French company, but everything they have is made in China. But anyhow, that is a look at the Bang GT40 Mark II of 1969. Hope you found this interesting. I certainly have. It's kind of a unique car. My next video will be of the GT40, the original. I guess you could call it the Mark I. But anyhow, that's it. Thanks for watching.